Every dynasty needs an enforcer. Every army needs its vanguard. And for the P-pop kings, SB19, their secret weapon was a quiet kid from the countryside. He was the artist who brought a specific kind of danger they desperately needed to take on the world. He's their main dancer, lead rapper, and an unpredictable vocalist. But to really get the ferocity he brings to the stage, you have to understand the fire that made him. This is the story of how Felip Jhon Suson, who the world knows as Ken, used his signature deep voice, his elite self-taught dance skills, and a raw, untold story of sacrifice to help turn 5 Filipino dreamers into a global force. This isn't just about talent. It's about the hunger, the hardship, and the sheer will that turned a shy boy from the province into the artistic pillar of a phenomenon. This is how Ken Suson became the force that made SB19 lethal. Long before the stadium lights and the roar of the Atin fandom, there was just a quiet boy living a simple life in the mountains of Pagadian, Zamboanga del Sur. Raised by his grandparents, with his grandfather serving as a local pastor, Felip Jhon Suson's world was one of humility and faith. While his parents worked overseas, a familiar story of sacrifice for millions of Filipinos, he grew up as a Lolo's and Lola's boy, a child of the province. His childhood was far from privileged. He's talked about walking to school in worn-out slippers because shoes were a luxury, and getting by on a daily allowance of just 5 pesos, enough for a banana queue and some ice candy. He was a barefoot kid who would tend to farm animals after school, a world away from the fashion icon he'd become. He was also known for being painfully shy, the most reserved in his family. But even in this quiet life, you could see sparks of the artist and competitor he would become. He was surprisingly athletic, becoming a varsity player in the acrobatic sport of sepak takraw, a regional representative in table tennis, and also competing in basketball and volleyball. Beyond sports, he was creative, serving as an editorial cartoonist for his school's paper. This was Ken before the world knew him, a shy boy with a competitive fire, a kid from humble beginnings with an artist's eye. He was living a life that seemed a million miles from the global stage, one defined by modesty and struggle. He didn't know it yet, but these were the very experiences planting the seeds of the ferocity he'd one day unleash. The hunger was being born, not from a desire for fame, but from the reality of his life. The discipline was being forged, not in a dance studio, but on dusty courts and through the daily chores of a simple provincial life. For some artists, the calling is a loud, undeniable roar. For Ken, it started by accident. Music was always there. Growing up in a church with his pastor grandfather, he was surrounded by instruments and hymns. His family was musical too. His dad played the piano, and his sister was a singer in a band. But dance? That was a whole other story. The turning point came from a mandatory school activity. He was forced to perform in an event for a grade. It was an obligation, not a passion. But when the music hit, something clicked. He found himself moving with a natural instinct he never knew he had. That one performance lit a spark. What started as a school requirement quickly became an obsession. As a self-taught dancer, he spent countless hours alone, watching tutorials and mimicking moves, driven by nothing but raw dedication. That spark grew into a flame. He formed his own dance team, taking on the role of choreographer, and joined local hip-hop crews like Excite in Cagayan de Oro to hone his skills. This wasn't about becoming an idol. It was about the love of the craft. It was during this time, in the competitive K-pop cover group scene, that fate started to move. As a member of a GOT7 cover group, he crossed paths with other aspiring performers, including 2 guys named Josh and Stell, who were in a rival dance crew. But there was something in Ken that wouldn't stay still. His talent was too raw to stay in the provinces. His path was leading him to Manila, the heart of the country's entertainment industry, a place that would both test him and define him. The shy boy from Pagadian had found his voice, not in speaking, but in moving. It was time for the big leagues. Moving to Manila is a rite of passage for many Filipinos with a dream. For Ken, it was a trial by fire. Armed with little more than his talent and an invitation from his fellow dancer, Josh, to audition for a new company called Show BT, he took the leap. He was in the middle of studying architecture at the Technological Institute of the Philippines, a stable path his parents probably hoped for. But the pull to perform was too strong. He made the gut-wrenching decision to drop out, a choice that his parents initially didn't approve of. As he later said, it was a difficult decision, but dancing is what I really love. The city was not kind. The stories from this period have become legendary in the fandom, forming the bedrock of his underdog story. There's the infamous tale of being scammed by a taxi driver right after he arrived, a huge blow for someone with so little money. There were nights spent sleeping on a cold, hard floor. These weren't just struggles. They were the moments that hardened his resolve. He passed the audition and, in 2018, officially became a trainee at Show BT, the Philippine branch of a Korean entertainment company. He was the fifth and final member to join the lineup that would become SB19. The training was relentless, a grueling K-pop-style system that demanded thousands of hours of practice with no promise of success. The group itself was on shaky ground, feeling disheartened and struggling to find their way. This was the grind, every drop of sweat, every moment of doubt, every sacrifice, leaving school, going against his parents' wishes, and enduring the hardships of a trainee's life, was poured into his craft. The quiet boy was being reforged in Manila's unforgiving industry, and the danger in his performance was being sharpened with every setback. But success didn't come at all. After debuting in October 2018 with their first single, Tila Luha, SB19 was met with deafening silence. The group got almost no attention, and after a year of non-stop effort, they were completely defeated. The dream was dying. They were on the verge of disbanding, ready to pack it all in. The external pressure was bad enough, but the internal battles were just as tough. Ken, with his quiet nature, faced his own struggles. His distinctively deep voice, which would later become one of his greatest strengths, was initially a point of insecurity. It was group leader Pablo who saw its potential, viewing it not as a flaw, but as a unique texture that could give their music a whole new dimension. On top of that, in a group of gifted dancers, even his title as main dancer was questioned by critics and haters online. In the idol world, where every member is picked apart, titles are hard-won. To have his main skill challenged was a direct shot at his identity in the group. These were the moments that could either break an artist or build them into something stronger. For Ken, and for SB19, it was the latter. This period of doubt and near failure became the final ingredient they needed for their explosive rise. They had been pushed to the edge. The only way to go was up. Just as they were about to give up, SB19 released their second single, Go Up, in July 2019. It was their last shot, a song that leader Pablo would later call their redemption song. For months, nothing. The song, like their first, failed to make a wave. But then, on September 2nd, 2019, everything changed. A fan on Twitter posted the group's dance practice video for Go Up. The tweet started, "So there is this Filipino boy group called SB19," and went on to praise their incredible synchronization. The video went viral. Suddenly, hundreds of thousands, then millions, were watching. What they saw was a group moving with knife-like precision and an energy that was impossible to look away from. And at the center of that choreography was Ken. People were captivated by his athletic power, his fluid hip-hop style, and a now iconic backflip that put an exclamation point on the performance. The video was proof of their grueling training, and Ken's mastery was on full display. His blend of K-pop synchronization with a raw, freestyle hip-hop edge was a huge part of what made them look and feel so different. This was the breakthrough. It wasn't a big marketing push or a label's backing. It was the undeniable power of their talent, captured in a simple dance practice video that saved them from disbandment. The boys who were about to quit were suddenly on national TV and radio shows. They had faced down the haters and doubters, and now they were, as the fandom loves to say, torturing them with success. Ken's journey from a self-taught dancer in his room to the main dancer of a viral sensation was complete. But this was just the beginning of his evolution into the group's most dangerous weapon. The go-up phenomenon didn't just save SB19, it unleashed Ken. The viral moment gave him a platform to show the full spectrum of his artistry, a complex identity that would become key to the group's dangerous appeal. He evolved from just the main dancer to a complete artistic force, a quiet pillar of ferocity. The rapper's edge. The first layer of Ken's danger is his voice. He has the deepest vocal tone in SB19, a raw, gravelly bass that adds aggression and swagger to their music. When Ken steps to the mic, the whole vibe changes. His rap delivery on tracks like Go Up is explosive, giving a gritty counterpoint to the group's smoother harmonies. But it's not just the depth of his voice, it's how he uses it. Ken is a multilingual rapper, switching seamlessly between English, Filipino, and his native Bisaya. This isn't a gimmick, it's a powerful statement of identity. By infusing their music with his regional dialect, he grounds SB19's sound in an authentic Filipino experience, setting them apart from being just another K-pop imitation. This global-ready aggression was on full display in early 2025 at the DUNK Showcase in Yokohama, Japan. Personally invited by the legendary Japanese rapper Skyway Aichai, Ken was the only Filipino artist at the massive event, performing for 20,000 people as a rap collaborator. On one of the biggest stages of his career, he traded bars with Japanese artists, spitting verses about rivals not being able to match his level, a performance that trended worldwide on X. He later said, "The show was really massive and one of the biggest stages I've performed in. It's such a huge honor." This wasn't just a guest spot, it was a validation. It proved that Ken's rap style, forged in the Philippines, was potent enough to stand on its own on an international stage. The main dancer redefined. If his rap is the sonic danger, his dance is the physical version of it. As SB19's main dancer, Ken is an athletic powerhouse. You can see his background as a varsity athlete in the acrobatic sport of sepak takraw, in his explosive stage presence. He moves with a mix of raw power and sharp precision that demands your attention. This was shown to a global audience during SB19's Grammy Global Spin performance of Bulan, where his fiery rap and dance skills were spotlighted. He knows how to use his frame to dominate a stage, but his skill is more than just power. It's intelligent. He understands when to be intense and when to shift into a lighter, more fluid movement, a skill noted even in his performances for commercial jingles. And though he's admitted to sometimes forgetting choreography, his foundation in freestyle allows him to be an intuitive and captivating performer. His fan cams regularly go viral, with fans breaking down his controlled expressions and the effortless charisma he gives off. A 2025 fan cam from a festival in Taiwan was especially praised, with viewers noting how he balanced artistry and power in every move. He isn't just doing steps, he's telling a story with his body, a story of struggle, triumph, and undeniable swagger. The dual identity, Felip, the solo powerhouse. Just when the world was getting used to Ken, the dangerous performer from SB19, he revealed another, more complex side of himself. In 2021, he debuted as a solo artist under his real name, Felip. This wasn't a side project. It was the birth of a dual identity. If Ken is the sharp, synchronized weapon in SB19's arsenal, Felip is the experimental, untamed artist exploring the depths of his own mind. His solo work is a journey into darker, more intricate territory. It began with Palayo, a slow R&B track sung in Bisaya that paid tribute to his roots. But it was his later releases, the EP Complex, and his 2024 full-length album Seven Zins, that fully revealed his solo vision. These projects are heavily geared towards hip-hop and rock, with tracks like Rock Stay, Criminal, and Envy, showing a more aggressive, complex style. The Seven Zins album is a bold concept, exploring human flaws through the lens of the 7 deadly sins. Worlds away from typical pop music. It's a genre-bending experience, blending rock, metal, R&B, and hip-hop into a sound that is all his own. This solo work is so important because it proves that SB19's edge isn't manufactured. It comes from having a member who, on his own, is creating art that is challenging, personal, and uncompromising. The success of Felip, with sold-out solo concerts and albums topping charts in Japan, shows a depth and versatility that makes the entire group even more formidable. From a barefoot kid in the province walking to school in slippers, to the CEO of his own streetwear brand, Superior Sun. From a shy boy forced to dance for a grade, to a solo artist selling out concerts for his own dark, conceptual album. Ken Suson's journey is a powerful reminder that our deepest struggles often forge our greatest strengths. His story is one of pure, relentless perseverance. Does SB19's story and Ken's incredible journey give you a little hope to keep going? Let us know in the comments what part of his story inspires you the most. And if you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss our next one. In an interview, Ken was once described as the tempered, silent pillar of the group, an artist who is reserved and observant, but explosive and commanding the moment the spotlight hits him. That duality is the core of his power. The danger he brings to SB19 isn't loud or flashy. It's a quiet, confident ferocity born from a life of struggle, a self-taught mastery of his craft, and a fierce commitment to his own artistic truth. His raw backstory gives the why, the hunger that fuels him. His elite dance skills give the how, the physical language he uses to express that hunger. And his deep, multilingual rap voice provides the what, the sonic signature of his aggressive artistry. Together, these things created a force that SB19 didn't just want, but needed. Ken Suson injected a dose of authentic, raw, and undeniable danger into their DNA, elevating them from a polished P-pop group into a globally competitive powerhouse. He's the secret weapon, the X Factor, and the silent, ferocious force who proves that sometimes the most dangerous artists are the ones who have fought the hardest just to be heard.